Hello and welcome to the Handicapable Black Woman Throne Room. My view of humanity is a whole new tea. Okay, so saw this video probably about a month or two ago, but I've been talking politics, dating nightmares, personal stories, a combination of those things, and also racism, bigotry, ableism, all the isms and everything, because life keeps lifing and progressing, evolving, changing, going up and down to the point where 1 hour it's a good day, then the next you're just like, what in the world is going on in that White House? Oh, and now they want to start segregation. Now they want to ban books. Now they want to fire people just because they're black. Now they're saying that you have to know a certain language or just only English in order to do the job. But while is part of me wonders, are they throwing them out from trucking business to force them to have to work on the farms because now they have deported so many people that now they need employees. So now they have to do everything they can to push them into those types of jobs and things like that. So, yeah, that's just kind of some thoughts that's been going on in my head. Yeah, that's just some thoughts that's going on in my head, and also deporting little kids, kids with cancer, and American citizens, and people with tattoos, and accusing them of being in gangs when we have hate groups walking around with tattoos that could be considered, because a gang, yeah, their definition of a gang, that kind of fits. So, but yeah, that's why I didn't get to this topic until now, until today. And I've had so much evidence of this, and I have so much more. I could cover this for too many episodes because it's so sad how appalling and degrading and trolling a lot of these men are. And I'm not saying women are perfect, but remember, I only date men. So, and a lot of men, especially the red pill passport, egotistical, conniving, two-faced men out here, they expect women to just deal with their sexist opinions of how women are supposed to be submissive. We are supposed to behave. We are supposed to be gentle, kind, empathetic. And when a man comes home from work, we're supposed to massage his feet, cook him dinner, and just do all of the gentle, wonderful, amazing things, even though at the same time he's cheating on us, even though he's not spending money correctly or he's wasting it, and or when the woman asks for money because he asked her to quit her job. He asked her to stay home and make babies, take care of the babies, and he wants that to be her job. But then when she wants to get her hair done or nails done, he's telling her, you want to spend too much of my money. When once you ask a woman to quit her job, I think there should be a contract. And I know there's prenups and everything like that, but specifically, once you ask a woman to give up, especially when she has a degree, once you ask her to give that up, yeah, I think that should be in writing, because especially when you go to court, sometimes the judge is like, you have to prove, and especially that messes up a woman's resume, because once you ask her and then you cheat on her, divorce her, or leave her, or whatever shenanigans, next thing you know, she has to get her life back together. But yeah, like you never know how long of a break she was from work, so anyway, when men do all of this, and when a lot of men get into relationships, and or when men, better yet, when men are trying to get into relationships and the woman is not interested, it can be either by how you look. And a lot of women, like some women out here, are either racist or chauvinistic, or they only want men who have muscles or tattoos or degrees. And yes, I want a man with a degree, and I sound shallow. I will admit I do sound shallow. But my reasons are like everyone has their reasons for it, and a lot of men judge me for requiring a man to have a trade, a certification, or a trade. I used to not care. My ex, Mr. No Heart, dropped out of college. And then Lakaki, who I never wanted to date but blackmailed me, he didn't even have a high school diploma. He was studying, or the judge, because he was on probation, because he lied about that too, ordered for him to go to get his high school diploma, but then he quit that. So then he went to test for his GED, got it on the second try. But yeah, I used to not require that. And so some men look at it like I'm stuck up, but I added that to my list in 2022 because so many men were telling me, what kind of man would want a smart woman? And why did you waste your time going to grad school? Instead of going to grad school, you should have been making my babies. It's like your ovaries are well, you probably try to fill your brain with so much information that your ovaries have rotted out or are of no use. I've had all of this stuff said by men. I'm at a point where I'm like, okay, you don't want a smart woman. You don't appreciate a smart woman. I've had men tell me that I am not allowed to talk or tell his family members about my degrees or my work or anything. I am supposed to change the subject. So that's one reason why sometimes when I hear people say that they have a certain type, I don't judge. Sometimes people are just racist, sometimes they're just stuck up, sometimes they're snotty. I don't judge because everyone's human, everyone's allowed to do whatever they want to do. So as long as you're going to love that person, I'm not going to make you love somebody. So yeah, love who you love. As long as it's an adult, two adults that are agreeing. Okay, I gotta lay that out there. Whew, I gotta lay that out there. But there's a lot of men who keep saying you gotta let us down more easily. You gotta be nicer. When I was nice before I wrote my list of standards, because I used to not have these standards. But when men kept telling me that I was dumb for being a liberal, Democrat, progressive, and they kept putting me down for it, yeah, that's carving a little bit of the niceness away. When I say I want to adopt or foster kids, and they tell me that's stupid and a waste of time, and why would you want somebody's leftover babies or babies that no one ever wanted? And these are some of the church boys saying this, the church men saying this. Huh? Oh, you're chipping away at my niceness. When I say I don't really drink or smoke, it's like I might have an occasional here and there, but I don't really. Then you call me a square, say that I'm a goody goody, saying I'm a white girl wannabe. You're chiseling at my niceness. And so I'm going to be going through this episode showing examples of why some women, we're not that nice anymore. We're tired of being nice. And I have hundreds of examples. But a lot of men try to blame us when that's not fair, that's not right. And so quickly, the first page or the first, scene right here, we have a guy who says, "Oh, okay, that's fine. I don't talk to our word demos anyway." Because on my standard list, I say you can't be a MAGA, can't be a Republican, can't be conservative. Because yeah, when you call me an idiot and all these other things, I don't have time for you. So I put that on there to save us both time. And then I have another one where, okay, I'm going to put more examples, but some of you guys, if you've been listening, you've seen Divine Power before. And basically at the end, he says, "I know you don't have a college degree, nothing but a narcissist." And the thing is you're right. I don't have a degree. I have 3 degrees and 3 certifications, and I busted my tush off for them. or on them. And I'm tired of men telling me that my education is a waste of time and I am supposed to only care about bearing children and taking care of them and taking care of the man. And then men who they say that I need to quit my job because they want some tell me they want to make sure I don't make as much as them. I make less and things like that because they're in fear that I'm going to make more than them. I'm going to be more successful and then leave them because of my success. When I say I want to write my children's books, you do not know how many tell me I better not. And it's a joke and it's stupid. And no one's going to read my books because I'm black or because I'm a woman or because I'm a black woman or because I have a disability or because I'm a black woman with a disability. I've heard it all. And some men put me down because they don't want me to or they hope I don't because they don't want to see if I succeed. And I think that's one reason why sometimes I'm nervous about writing because I so many awful things have been told to me by men on dating apps once I try to tell them my goals, my dreams, and aspirations. Then you guys have guys like Mo. If you've been watching the episodes, you've seen quite a few of his messages. This is the type of guy who, like when people say, be nicer, he's written me 4 or 5 times and only on one dating app, but then he went on Facebook dating and wrote me too. One day when I finally have all of the collections of all the times he wrote me, I will put them in an episode. But this guy, like, it's almost like he writes all women. He doesn't care who you are. He's just looking for a woman so he can use them. That's just my opinion. But when every 2 months I'm getting a message, and then if I don't reply because I'm working, sometimes I'm like, okay, I'll reply to him. Like the first couple times, I I was like, you know what? I'll see what he's about. I'll talk to him. But I was working, and I didn't want to just say, hi, how are you? Like I used to put more thought into it until I found out how awful and terrible a lot of men are. And that's when I kind of like, yeah, you know what? I don't really care anymore. And so that's when it was over. And like with especially the second time, that's when he just started being dirty and he just started writing as much mean things because I'm a little older than him. He said, and that's why I think he said my uterus is dried up and no one's going to want to talk to me. I am of no use and stuff. And it's like, why are you writing me then? If I am of no use, why are you writing me? And you are only proving my point that you only wanted to sleep with me. If I am of no use, that means you had no use of me other than my body, other than what the one time you wanted to do whatever. You're proving my point. Exactly. And so, moving on, because I have so many more examples, but it's like we have Ty, who says, name one thing Biden has done to help you and your family and finances. And so, as you can tell, he does not like that on my standards. I have that you must not be a Republican, a MAGA, or conservative. He didn't like that. And it's like, and yeah, some people are like, that's not mean, that's not rude. But part of me feels like once you see something that on my list where it's like, okay, we're not compatible, just leave, just go, because I see that all the time, especially on Bumble and things, because I have learned on Plenty of Fish, Meet Me, and Scout, I don't look anymore. If they write me, I'll check it out, but I have learned do not write the men on those dating apps. And that's my opinion. That's my opinion. I'm not doing demarketing for them or anything like that. It's just my honest opinion, especially with my list of standards. I created my list of standards a, a lot because the men I kept meeting from this app, they were the ones trolling and putting me down the most, dehumanizing me and telling me that I was of no use because my education was too masculine, my dreams were too masculine. Me investing is only what men do, and men telling me that I had to take my money out of the account for them to date me. And when I refused, they called me dumb, telling me that if you're so dumb that you're going to lose out on me and I'm a good man, then you're an absolute idiot. I've had men say this. It's crazy. And but then men want us to be nicer because I invest, because I have goals and dreams with my business, because I have an education. I am not woman enough. And when men tell me that I have to behave and be obedient and maintain my femininity, yeah, mm, okay, but I have more because then you have Bubba over. He says, "Hail President," that you know who, yeah, and "Hail Republican," yeah. When you see the top thing on my list is that I will not date Republicans and things like, and I even say like I'm willing to talk, but we're not gonna go farther than talking. But then since the character space is limited, I wasn't able to word it the way I wanted to, but most people get what I have to say. But then the poorly educated, the men with lower reading IQ, they always say, "Oh, I need to do all of this just to talk to you." You didn't read that, did you? But men who have higher reading levels, they understand. And I've even had some men who have been incarcerated write me and say, I respect your list and I would still enjoy the conversation, but I know since I don't meet all of your standards, it can't go past conversation. And then I'm like, bravo, thank you. Thank you for reading. Thank you for having good teachers that taught you how to comprehend. And then we have Tommy in the middle. Who. This guy. He wrote me, but he kept writing like things like sweetie or baby and honey and all this other stuff. And I asked them, please, just don't like, I mean, it's cute, it's sweet and things like that. But I did a whole episode showing different, all like tons of different men calling me sweetie, baby, honey, and stuff like that. I only want to be called that by the man that I call my boyfriend, the guy I'm in a relationship with. That's something more intimate. And or if you are like one of my close male friends, then I might allow you to do, because I have one male friend right now who is like, he calls me, like we have nicknames for each other. But I just don't want any man and every man to do that. And that's one thing, like, even my ex boyfriend, Mr. No Heart, he was like, I know women love all pet calling. I'm like, no, that's not. He was like, no, I know they do. I know you do. Red Pill really got that no good, stupid idiot wrapped up. But I'll talk about him a different day on that matter. But I've covered this. So if you want to catch up, I have over 350 episodes, almost 360. So let's keep going. Let's keep going. Because I have other guys that write me numerous times. And one of the first times he wrote me, he wrote, and oh, and as you can tell, he has more than one account. I've said this in several messages or several episodes. A lot of men have more than one account, and one of them's Dr. Jekyll, the other's Mr. Hyde. And some of them, they like to troll and be mean and they're degrading and things like that. But then sometimes they write the same people not realizing that they're already mean or nice, and then they turn around and show the other side. And or some men who they're Republican on one profile and then they're liberal on the other because they want to make sure they can get all women, because they want to be able to sleep with as many women as they can. And so if they have one that says liberal, one that says conservative, it's like, at least because they've noticed a lot of men who are moderate, women are like, okay, I'm going to have to quiz you then, see how moderate you are, or see if you lean more my way or the other way, stuff like that. So, yeah, I've caught a lot of tricks, and yeah. Yeah, they have a lot of, it's disgusting. But this guy, he's like, how funny. You complain about all these men, but when a decent dude messages you, you ignore them. LOL. This man has written me about 6 to 8 times, and I didn't screenshot all of them, so I don't have all of the evidence. But here's a sample from one of his other accounts. We should meet up and have, well, he says S3X, but you know what he means. And so, yeah, some of these men write over and over, and some men only write once, but then they write some of the most evil, awful, terrible, disgusting, degrading things, which I wish their mother and grandmother can read. And if their mothers or grandmothers are in heaven, it's like if I could just show them for a quick, they would come back down there and hunt them. They will hunt, do whatever they have to do, hunt them down to haunt them down. You know. Okay, so this is part of my profile. And I say, let's save time. We can be friends and chat if you don't fit the following, but no dating or interest past friends. And so let's save time. We can be friends and chat if you don't fit the following. If you don't fit the following. And then I emphasize, but no dating or interest past friends. Oh, and the top one is must not be a Republican or Orange Man supporter. It's like, and a lot of men get upset with that. But then men get upset with it, but then they say I'm dumb, but then they say politics don't have anything to do with dating. But, okay, if you're going to keep calling me an idiot, calling me dumb, calling me like the R word and everything like that, it must trigger you that I'm not a conservative or Republican. So you say politics doesn't have anything to do with dating while you hate my political stance. So down the line, it's going to start arguments and kind of tear us apart and things like that. So, and it's like I show that I am fully vaccinated, about my degrees and things like that. And a lot of men, some men think I'm pretending with my master's degrees. And when I tell them that I'm not, and I have degrees, and some men tell me I have to show them pictures of my degrees, and that's when it's like, I don't know you, and I don't have to like, no. And it's my jobs, as long as when I apply for jobs, they might ask for my credentials or my transcripts and things like that. That's fine. But if you not, it's like, if you ever, if I'm dating a guy and he sees my diplomas either in my room or whatever, hey, okay, but I'm not, no, I'm not going to show any and every random person. So, like, I busted my tush for that. I know what I've done, I know what I've accomplished. But yeah, I get a lot of hate on that. And it's with my list. Yes, it's a lot to live up to, but these are the things men hate about me. I've busted my tush off with, and the thing is, they're not that big. Other than the political one and having an education, didn't work that hard to do any of it. Must have, must have or plan investments and future endeavors. There's an Acorns account, $5 a week. Acorns, five. Now I have the hiccups. $5 a week. If you just had that, that's something. At least a little of your money is growing. And I know how this economy is. I know how this country is. But that's one reason I did it, was because I want a safety net. And I'm tired of men always asking me for money. You do not know how many men that I have dated that they don't have money, but then they're asking me for money. But then it's like, just, yeah, but then they want me to be gentle. They want me to be more gentle. And a couple more examples. There's one guy who's asking if he can show me his small eggplant. Yeah, you know what the eggplant is. And then another guy who says you're not hot enough for your bio and attitude. How much attitude was in my profile? There was none. I listed the standards, and I listed standards that men hate about me. So if I'm hot enough to have everything in my standards, so thank you. It's like I don't even think I'm that hot at all, but whatever. And I think it's just crazy how he I wonder, is he mad? Is he jealous? Is he just I have no idea. One day he'll probably find me, write me, and tell me all the terrible things or whatever, but I don't know what's up with him. I don't know what's going on in that, well, brain. Maybe he's got a worm in there too. I have no idea. I have no idea. But it's like say I have attitude. Now I have attitude because you're going to degrade me. Like you're going to try to put me down, degrade me like that when everything on that standards list I'm working on. I have, and or one day I'm going to adopt. And I want a man that also wants to adopt, but a lot of men don't want to adopt or foster. A lot of men don't. So I put that on the list for that reason. And I have investments. I worked one, two, three, four jobs at the same time. So I could invest. So I could save for a house and things like that. So that I could make sure my credit score was on point. I did all of that. And a lot of like, so I'll talk about it a different day, a different time, because I'm running out of time. But a lot of men want us to be gentle and they want us to be nicer and feminine. Like, you guys have degraded us. You guys treat us like garbage, but you want us to be nicer. You want us to be nicer when you don't know how to treat us and respect us and to even realize that we are human too. You think we're less than you just because we are women, just because we don't have an eggplant. And that's awful and terrible and stupid and idiotic and just dehumanizing. But on that note, but on that note, on that note, this is the Handicapable Black Woman Throne Room. I am a woman, I am of color, and I am handicapable. But most importantly, I am human, and you're human too. Don't forget.